Faith isn't proven in the comfort of life. It's revealed in the fire. This is the story of three men, foreigners in a strange land, stripped of everything, except the devotion to God. When a golden idol was raised, the world bowed, but they stood. When threatened with death, they didn't flinch. When thrown into flames, they didn't burn, because in the fire, they weren't alone. This is the fireproof faith. The story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. It began with exile. Jerusalem was defeated, and the best of Israel's youth were taken captives to Babylon. Among them, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Young, intelligent, faithful. The names were changed. Their language was changed. Their culture was stripped away. But the God, still with them. Babylon called them Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. But heaven still called them his own. Alongside their friend Daniel, they refused the king's food. They refused to compromise. And God gave them favor, wisdom, understanding, a place in the king's court. But the higher they rose, the hotter the furnace would become. One day, King Nebuchadnezzar built a statue, 90 feet tall, made of gold, a monument to himself. And he issued a command. When the music plays, all must bow, or burn. It wasn't a suggestion, it was a death sentence for those who disobeyed. And the music played, the trumpets sounded, the people bowed, but three men stood tall. They didn't protest, they didn't argue, they just refused. Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, not for attention, not for pride, but because they feared God more than fire. The officials rushed to the king, furious, outraged. These Jews won't bow to your image. Nebuchadnezzar summoned them, gave them one more chance. Bow when the music plays, or I'll throw you into the furnace. And what God, he sneered, will be able to rescue you from my hand? But they answered, O king, we do not need to defend ourselves. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to save us. But even if he does not, we will not serve your gods, or worship the image you have set up. Even if he does not. That's fireproof faith, not faith in outcome, but faith in obedience. The king's face twisted with rage. He ordered the furnace heated 7 times hotter. Soldiers bound them, and threw them in. The fire was so hot, it killed the guards who carried them. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego fell into the flames, still bound. And then, the impossible. The king stood up and shouted, Weren't there 3 men we tied up and threw in? Look, I see 4 men, walking around in the fire, unbound, unharmed, and the 4th looks like a son of the gods. Jesus showed up, in the fire, before the cross, before Bethlehem, the pre-incarnate Christ, walking with them through the heat. Because he doesn't always deliver us from the fire, sometimes he joins us in it. They were untouched, unsinged, not even the smell of smoke on them. The king called them out. And when they stepped out of the flames, everyone saw, the governors, the satraps, the astrologers, they saw the miracle, and they heard the declaration. Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who sent his angel and rescued his servants. And Nebuchadnezzar made a decree. No one is to speak against the God, for no other God can save in this way. From slaves to royal protectors, from death row to divine promotion. Because they didn't bow, they didn't burn, and they didn't walk alone. You may not face a golden idol, but you will be tempted to bow, to fear, to pressure, to compromise. And when the heat rises, your faith will be tested. Will you stand, even if it costs you? Even if the outcome is uncertain? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego remind us, God doesn't always save us from the fire, but he always meets us in it. So don't bow, don't burn, stand firm, because in the fire, you'll find the 4th man. This was the story of a faith that couldn't be melted, a courage that couldn't be crushed, and a God who never leaves his own. This was the fireproof faith.